Hello and welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part 13 of our initial run through the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Here, we are starting at Bonny Gaol. Last time we went through the Fort of Reprimand, and we got a few things. One, we got the best version of the Flame Drake Talisman. We got the Mesmer Soldier Ashes. We found a dragon that gave us an ancient somber stone. We got a repeating crossbow, which you can shoot one bolt, or you can use the unique skill repeating fire to shoot 12 bolts. We got this consumable item, which looks very cool. We got America's Rune for 80k, very cool. We got a very cool Ash of War, which I believe was shown in a trailer that is found in the Fort of Reprimand. And we also got Talier's Concoction, one of, at least on paper, one of my favorite consumable items, both in terms of looks and use. So, as I said, we are starting here at Bonny Gaol. And as you can see, we've got a weapon. So, we can finally use the light greatswords. And I decided to use them because I wanted to show off a cool DLC weapon that fit with the build I'm going for. Which, you know, but I was about to say, my build uses both a straight sword and a great sword. This is a mix of a straight sword and a great sword, so I figured it works. There's an item there, but we can't get to it just yet. I don't think this is the enemy that I heard, because I heard crying. Oh, this guy. I heard this guy crying and thought it came from over here. Nope. Frozen maggot. Yeah, we have 59 of those, so we definitely got those before. I believe... Oh, there's an opening there. So we can't get up to that, but... I see a ladder there, so we're probably going to go down and then climb up a ladder into there, and then we can drop back down into here. And that'll be a way of getting back up. Also, just realized, there's these. We can definitely drop onto these and then get down to there. And I was about to say, but we can't get back up, but then I realized this is probably the way forward. This is probably a like self-looping side path. Oh, this also acts as an elevator. Okay. Well, hello. And I didn't know I was coming, but oh, that's a grab attack. Ew, 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 ew. Alright, we're just gonna greatsword. So, yeah, if you ever have trouble with these games, if you ever think they're too hard, pick up a great shield, pick up a great sword, and just guard counter. Like, it might sound like I'm boiling down a very complicated combat and exploration system, because the combat and exploration are tied a bit, considering there are enemies hiding around corners and there's traps and whatnot. So yeah, you may think that I'm oversimplifying a very complicated system, and to an extent, yes, I am. However, great swords are overpowered. And that's the end of it. Like, there's nothing more to that. Great swords are just overpowered. Oh, this goes up. Okay. So I thought that down there was going to be a ladder that led you up to there. Like, that's what I was assuming. Apparently not. Apparently I had misthought the reality of this jail. I suppose is the way you could word it. If you're me and don't know the English language. But moving on. It's a big hole in the ground. I don't see another way, so I'm gonna go into the big hole in the ground. Hey, friend, listen. I need you to stay here. And if you have a rope, throw the rope down if I need help. Oh, well, the place looks cool. There's an item there. I don't know which way is the way to go, but my instinct is to always just turn around. That rat scared me a lot more than it should have. It's just a rat, but it was a scary rat. I'll tell you what. Oh, that's a big rat. Well, that's okay. Because a big rat isn't scary. I don't know why, but the small rats scare me more than the big rats. And it kind of feels like they shouldn't. It feels like the small rats should be the free kills and the big rats should be the scary ones because they have more health and poise. Ladder. But I don't know, maybe this is just me, but the big rats feel easier. Again, might just be me. Alright. Light greatsword, two-handed, light attack combo. Stun locked them. That is very nice. I love to see it. Stalwart Horn Charm +2. That vastly boosts robustness. Alright, so starting on the horns in the middle. Horns are sublime artifacts to Hornsent, and their presence confirms the belief that they are a chosen people. Only the repeated sprouting of flesh horns can create a tangled horn, which is viewed as an irrefutable symbol of primacy. And this is for blood loss and frost. Okay. And that's how you get back up there. So we can go the other way now. But, yeah, I don't know. The smaller rats just feel a lot harder for me. Like, even though they have less poise and less health, they feel faster. They probably are faster, but they feel a lot faster. Ew. Ew. Gross. They have a lot of health or defense, whatever you want to call it, so I'm just gonna leave. Oh. Alright, I don't know where we're supposed to go. Ah. This way, unless it's this way. Which way did we come from? We came from this way, okay. So this way is the way we're supposed to go. I was gonna say, like, it didn't feel like I missed anything. But also, like, we can't teleport. I saw that one. Yeah, I was about to say, it didn't feel like I missed anything. And I can't think of any paths that I looked over. But I didn't see a boss, but we can't teleport out. And I know that we can walk out, but if we can't teleport out, then it really feels like there should be a boss. Oh, this is very pretty. I'm gonna come back here and take a screenshot of this after this is over. Partially because I don't want to interrupt things, and partially because as of right now, I thought that was one of the squishy guys, and I got scared for a second. Even though we now know how to stun lock them with this. Still. But and yeah, as you can see here, great swords are busted. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They're either lying or they don't know how to use great swords. Because these things are actually just overpowered. It's kind of unfair. But yeah, not gonna take the screenshot right now. Partially because I don't want to interrupt the flow of moving through the area. And partially because I don't remember the screenshot button at the moment. And that's partially because I have 3 different systems with 3 different screenshot buttons, and I haven't taken a screenshot on Steam in forever. So, kind of forgetting the buttons over time. Can they drop down? I've just realized that this is meat water. And I'm not a fan of the concept of meat water. Or these things. Like, I love the jars, both as friends and as foes. I think they're very nice. I think they're... Ow. I think they're a very nice friend type. I haven't seen any in the DLC so far, but... like Iron Fist Alexander, Jerbairn, I think their name is. The one that wants you to be potentate. Like, they're both very lovely. And as enemies, I really like them. Especially since you can't just R1 spam them like you can some other enemies, like the basic soldiers. You need something that hits a bit harder, or you need to actually dodge them. So it forces you to not be as forehead. Unless you're using a greatsword, in which case you can just keep being a forehead. Because... yeah. It works too well. But... yeah, I really like them. But the introduction of these things is... it is disgusting. Like... it's a thing of I hate it, but I don't hate it. I've said it before, but it's like very effective horror. Where I hate it, but I hate it because it's done to elicit that reaction, and it's done very well. And so, objectively speaking, it is very good. But it's gross. And, like, it's gross by design, so it's good, but it's still gross. And... with the creation of these guys, I can absolutely see people not being able to see these guys the same ever again. Thankfully, I'm very scatterbrained, and unless I'm seeing them side by side, I can just airhead my way through not making that connection. It's like, I understand that the squishy flesh guys come from the cool jar people, but I don't have to think about that if I'm not seeing them side by side. Good. Anyways, I really like two-handing this. I prefer how the character holds it one-handed. But the extra damage and stun from two-handing it, and the fact that you swing it off to the right instead of the left, I like a bit more. It's the same with greatswords, where I prefer holding it like this rather than this. I also prefer how you swing it one-handed. But the extra stun and damage is just too good. Which is why I tend to one-hand while walking around, but once an enemy shows up, then I two-hand. Like, that's why I do that. But anyways... I was about to say something, and then I realized that I'd forgotten what I was about to say, and I was about to say, oh man, I forgot what I was about to say, and then I remembered. So... my brain works in very strange ways. But... I was about to say, I thought I saw this moving, and I don't know if it's going to move. But... anyways, the thing that I was going to say is this, like, whole jar motif. Ugh. It absolutely makes sense for this, because this is right outside of Bonny Village, which had all the jars. And so it makes sense for this to have all the jars. But I realized that we've done... Well, we've done more than 3. Like, let's go through all the ones that I can remember as of right now. Lamenter's Jail, Dragon's Pit, Ruined Forge Lava Intake, Bellerot Jail, Fog Rift Catacombs, and now Bonny Jail, so that's 6. So we've gone through 6. And Bonny Jail, I believe Bellerot Jail, and then maybe Lamenter's Jail, I believe, have all had this, like, theme. This color palette, these enemies. I know that Ruined Forge Lava Intake had the fire section and the, like, big stone enemies and hit them in the weak spot. Dragon's Pit was more of a traditional cave. It was a very big cave, but it was more of a traditional cave. And it had the, like, skeleton dragon men enemies. And then Fog Rift Catacombs was the catacombs and the slamming, like the spikes that came down from the ceiling slammed down. But Bellerot Jail and Lamenter's Jail, if I remember correctly, both had this, like, blue-black color palette. These, like, stalagmites or stalactites, whatever they're called. The, like, blue-white flames. Kind of these structures. The like, jar enemies, the goop enemies that come out of the jars. And these enemies. I was about to say, I see an opening there. And I feel like there's gonna be an enemy. Alright, so you want to dodge out to the side for that. Good to know. Good to know. But anyways, yeah, so this is the 6th cave that we've run into. Kind of feels weird to call them caves because they're so much bigger than the ones in the base game. So, blue, as I've said on the Cerulean Coast. Blue and fog and yes, I love it. Why is our weapon bouncing off? That was strange. But anyways, again, if I'm remembering correctly, we've gone through 6, and this is the 3rd where we've had this. Which, outside of the goopy enemies, which, again, very well designed, I just hate them because they're gross. And so they're just very effective horror. But the color palette and the jars, I love. But being the 3rd one, it's kind of like, okay, maybe we can have something new. So I understand why they did it, because obviously this took a lot of work, and not everyone is going to go through every single cave, and so they want people to see it. And it makes sense for Bonny Jail to have it, since it's right next to the village, which had all the goopy stuff and the jars. So it makes sense, but I feel like they should have done Lamenter's jail as well, but not Bellerot jail. I feel like Bellerot jail could have had the enemies from Bellerot. I feel like they could have done that. But yeah, that's to say, this is very good. It just feels strange that half of the caves, like 3 of the 6 that we've run into so far, have had these enemies and this color palette and these structures. And then the other 3 have all been unique. I find that ever so slightly strange. But moving into the boss. Curseblade Labyrinth. Oh. Oh, and the whole thing I was saying about having enemies from Bellerot. And they did it here. As a boss. And this enemy worries me because they have a lot of mobility. But okay. A 100,000 and Curseblade Mira. This takes 91 FP. Ash remains of in which spirits yet dwell, used to summon the spirit of Curseblade Mira, attacks immediately after being summoned. Alright, so they just head straight into the fight. There is no waiting around, like how Mimic Tear slowly goops up. They just beeline straight for it. Good to know. But Curseblades appear to dance when they spin their shimmering circular blades. These Acertix? I don't know how to pronounce that or what that means. Who fail to become tutelary deities were a scourge for those who attempted to invade the Horn-sent homeland. Long ago, before the land was overshadowed by invasion, this scourge was shunned, and the Curseblades were imprisoned. It was during this confinement that Mira met Labyrinth, and upon her death, Labyrinth was plunged into a devastating darkness. Alright, so Mira, the one that we got, and the boss were friends. And the Spirit Ash's death led to the boss gaining the darkness that they used against us. Okay. Now, a complaint that a lot of people have in the base game is that a lot of the caves, they're very samey. Like, they're very just kind of copy-paste. And I said that before going into this boss, where I was like, hey, very cool aesthetic and enemies, but half the caves have been this. Which, I really like it, but 3 out of 6 being this is like, okay, we can move on. And so, kind of getting a bit of that criticism, and then here, it's a tough enemy. At least it's a scary enemy. They feel pretty tough, though. And part of that is my hesitation, because I don't know how to fight them very well. But they are an enemy. Like, you start out here, and you go over here, and it's like, boom, first enemy is one of these things. And it's a boss, so same complaint from the base game applies here. Now, it's much more of a boss than like a Zola Beastman or like a bear. Just like a normal bear. Or like a Miranda Sprout. Which there are two base game cave bosses where a Miranda Sprout, like the flower, is a boss. There's two. So it's definitely a lot better than that, but it's still a normal enemy. Still a normal enemy that you've run into multiple times before getting here. So I feel like that criticism still holds up. I'm trying to think if there's a way to get down here. Because I don't know. And we're 31, 32 minutes in. And I don't want to end a part 30 minutes in. But I also don't want to spend a ton of time. Like, I don't want to spend the whole second part just running around looking for a new place. So. And I mean, there is the Shadow Keep, Main Gate, and Church District. But this looks big. And I feel like that should get its own full part. So, to summarize, very cool color palette, aesthetic, enemies, everything like that. Very cool, but 3 of the 6 caves, which the caves have gotten a lot better than in the base game. Like, there's no denying that at all. The caves are a lot bigger, they're a lot more expansive, they're a lot more intertwined. It's not just a straight shot. Like, you can actually go back and forth. They weave in and out. That I would say that this cave is by a decent bit the worst, in my opinion. But on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being mid and then 7 being decent, because that's how I do things, because some people say 7 is mediocre. I say 5 is mediocre, because mediocre is not good, not bad, and on a scale of 1 to 10, 5 is in the middle, and mediocre is in the middle. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being mediocre, I'd say that this is like a 5.5. And it's noticeably the worst out of the 6 that I've gone through. The best, I would say, would probably be between Ruin Forge Lava Intake and Dragon's Pit. You could say Bellerot Jail or Lamenter's Jail, one of the two. I don't remember the specifics on which is which, because they're pretty similar. I would say one of those two could be a contender, but the fact that 3 of them have this kind of drag the other 2 down just a tiny bit. And so of these 2, I think Ruin Forge Lava Intake is better made from a level standpoint, but I personally prefer Dragon's Pit based on the enemies and just like how it flows. Though that's not really how it flows, because Ruinforge lava intake definitely flows better in terms of level design and how you move throughout it. It's just that Dragon's Pit felt more natural for me to move through. Because Ruinforge lava intake, I kind of got lost. And it was like, alright, you can go like 2 or 3 different ways. And some of them just end in dead ends, and then you just have to turn around. Whereas Dragon's Pit, it was never like, alright, I hit a wall, now I have to turn around. It was always somewhere to go. Now, that was partially because it was more linear, but like I said, these two are the best. Either Lamenter's Jail or Bellarot Jail. Both good. I don't remember which is which because, like I said, they're both this. And so they're both very similar. They're my favorite aesthetically by a large margin because Ruinforge lava intake, I don't like lava. It's bright and hurts my poor sensitive eyes. My poor weak baby eyes. I can't handle the bright lava. So not a fan of this aesthetically, but that's mainly because of my eyes. They're not that bad, I'm over-exaggerating, but not a fan of, like, super bright, like, I can't think of the word for it right now, but things that strain your eyes, I'm not a fan of. And this does it just a wee bit. So, very good, but I'm not a fan of the, like, color palette, the, like, red and ashy gray. And it's very bright. And then, again, still very good, though. And I like Dragon's Pit. Minor nitpick of it's a bit more straightforward than the lava intake one, but I still really liked it. And then Bellarot Jail and Lamenter's Jail, like I said, by far my favorite aesthetically. But with that being said, I'm not going to know it just yet, but you will. And that's either we're going to end it here because I couldn't find anywhere else to go, or we're going to find somewhere else to go, and we'll do that for the next 20-ish minutes. So, see ya in the next area. If not, yeah. I found a way to go. So, went to the Dragon's Pit terminus, and I went forward and left. There are these 2 massive twin arches. Went under them, and straightforward led me here. No idea what's over here, because as soon as I realized it was a new path, started recording, and so I don't know what's over here, but looks like there's a bridge here which leads to something new, and don't know if we can get to it, but there is a map fragment here. So hopefully we can get our fingies on a delicious... I couldn't think of another descriptor. But hopefully we can get our fingies on a delicious new map fragment. Oh, the trees are swaying. I didn't think the trees swayed. I mean, maybe they're swaying because there's wind. And maybe there's wind because there's red lightning and something's about to kill us. But Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Because I'm sure whatever is up here is very nice and friendly and isn't going to kill us. And I leveled up at the Dragon Pit Terminus. And we only have 30k. And so if we die, we won't lose anything too bad. Jagged Peak Drake. We fought one of these things already. But there's 2 dragons here. Oh. But I think the 2 dragons are fighting. There's very little visibility. I thought they were going to do the tail swipe, which is why I jumped. Alright, so can confirm the 2 dragons, drakes, whatever you want to call them, were fighting each other. I feel like they've kind of given up on that to go after me. Though maybe they went back to fighting the other dragon. I think they've gone back to fighting the other dragon. Because Mr. Bossman over here tried to lightning strike us and hit the other dragon. And then non-boss dragon didn't take too kindly to that. Oh. Yeah, I'm just gonna back up. I'm totally fine with letting the 2 giant death fire-breathing flying lizards fight it out. I'm totally fine with them not ganging up on me. So the boss one has lightning, which does set it apart. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Right, we're going through a lot of charges. A lot of flasks. And that's partially because I can't see a single thing. And partially because I'm sitting back and not staying close to the dragon like I should. And partially because there's 2 dragons. And also that attack. I could not move for a second. And well, I'm down to just 4 charges. So actually, how much health is the non-boss dragon at? Let's just move away. Right, so the non-boss dragon is actually very low on health. Which, I mean, they're both low on health. Also, I don't think I pointed out last time, because, as I've said before, we did fight another Jagged Peak Drake. Like, we did fight one before. Right outside the Dragon Pit Terminus, actually. And it also had fire lightning. And I do think it's very cool. Like, the concept of fire lightning. Because those are like the two best elemental damages. Yeah, just breathe your fire. Just breathe your fire. Straightforward. Well, no, not like that. But with that being said, they go down.
What a sight. A warrior true, if ever one there was. A fellow Drake warrior. Igon. Piteous Igon. Do you not remember? Conjure your past, how once you were, when fear was yet foreign to you.
I remember this guy. He was, where's the dragon pit? It's here. So he was, like, over here, I think. Or, like, over here, I think. Near Pillar Pathway Point. He was, like, right here on the map, I believe. And he was, like, I don't remember his words, but he was freaking out, screaming about pain and how the dragon was gonna feel fear. So he apparently made it up here and watched us fight a dragon, and he's happy about it. Glad I can make you happy, bud.
Drake warrior, dear friend, grant me this one wish. Take this finger, my finger, scale the jagged peak, face Baal the Dread, and when you do, summon me. Summon my soul. My limbs are limbs no more. My heart is twice over filled with fear. But a Drake warrior I remain, and my soul yet lies on the mountain.
Egon's furled finger. Alright, so we get to summon him then. We get a friend. Alright. Summons Drake Warrior Igon from his sign. Furled finger of Igon, the broken Drake Warrior, gnarled and knotty and deeply discolored on the inside. When facing Baal the Dread, this summons Drake Warrior Igon from his sign. My soul yet lies on the mountain. Yeah, we got one of those before. Cool.
Proud Drake warrior, I beg of you, scale the jagged peak, face Baal the Dread, and when you do, summon me. Summon my soul.
Right, I don't know how useful he'll be. We're back in Jagged Peak. But I'll summon him, why not? It'll probably really throw off my typical gameplay. Dragon's Collar Bloom. Alright, so you can pause and read that if you want. But, because I didn't do it there, but I have a typical, or like a normal gameplay loop for dealing with dragons. Again, didn't do it there because there were two dragons and low visibility. But I have a normal gameplay loop that I use against dragons, and it works pretty well. But I feel like having a second person there to take aggro and have them throw attacks at, I feel like that could really throw off the rhythm. Also, I have 4 flasks. And throwing boulders at me. What is this? Of all things, why boulders? Oh, we got a skidoo tree fragment. That's good. Don't they do that in one of the Legends of Zelda games? Ocarina of Time? Where there's like a mountain, you have to go up the mountain, but there's boulders flying at you? That game came out when, like, 1782? Oh, there's another dragon. And we can summon. And there's a steak America in case we die, that's good. Ancient dragon Senesaxx. Ow. Well, I'm not winning this one. Oh, there's water. Oh. That's gonna spread the lightning more. Alright, but... if we fight them, this may go over an hour. I really like that attack. I ran into that. It might be better. I almost ran into that. It may be better to fight on foot. Because their swings are kind of slow on Torrent. And the time between being able to swing and being able to do a dodge is longer. I didn't think I was going to reach that far. So you can't swing as much, you can't swing as often. You can't swing as fast, you can't swing as often. I was about to say, I cannot move. Double lightning slams, okay. A dragon in the base game does that. Okay. So, we may be able to do this with just 4 heals. And we're already down to 1 when they're at half health. But I don't know how much health Torrent is at, and I don't have any items to heal them. I only have heal items for me. And so, if Torrent dies, that may be a big whoa. Which means we'd have to be very careful. Which, that was not very careful of me, I must say. Uh-oh. Oh. So. Yeah, that's not good. Because I now have no healing items and no horse. And I now have half health. And as I said, that's a bit of a problem. Like I said, probably not winning this one. Which I said in the beginning, because 4 health flasks. I was hoping you do fire, because it's a lot easier to get through the fire than the lightning. Yeah. So, as I said, we weren't winning that one because I had 4 flasks. Yeah, very close though. Like, surprisingly close. I feel like if I had, I don't know, like 6 or 7, we would have won. And the only reason I say that instead of 5 is because of Torrent. Though, possibly could have done it with 5. Oh. Ow. I should have gotten off Torrent for that. I just don't like getting off Torrent for these, like, big dragon fights. And we'll stay on Torrent, even if I really shouldn't. But staying on Torrent is generally better for these big dragon fights. Not always, but generally. Especially because they have some big AoEs, like those lightnings, and Torrent is a lot faster than a human. And so lets you just run around, kind of stay out of the dragon's sphere of influence, for lack of a better term. As you can see, there's I double jumped and that still hit me. So, ow. Tail! I'm gonna heal because I like when Torrent isn't half HP. I'm fighting a big old dragon. That's just makes me feel better. Oh, I keep forgetting that they start off slightly off to the right. Uh-oh. Alright. Good. So, like I So just need to keep our heads screwed on. Just need to not get greedy. And just need to keep it cool. And we will be fine. Like I said, just take it slow. Don't be greedy. And we will be fine. We're just gonna back up. Oh, wow, that fire really went far, huh? Alright. Great enemy felled. 200,000 runes. An ancient dragon smithing stone and an ancient somber stone. And remember, we went in with 4 heals on the first attempt. Okay, anyways, we went in with 4 heals on the first attempt, and I immediately said, hey, we're not gonna win this, but if we had 6 or 7, maybe 5, then we could. And guess how many I have? Or how many I used? 5. So I was actually right on that. Dead dragon. Dead dragon. Oh. Sharp gravelstone. But yeah, I was right. Just I had to press the get off your horse button 3 times there. Oof. But yeah, for right now we are leveling purely health until we get up to 60. And I'll move probably into dexterity. But ooh. But yeah, I was right in that. I said I don't have enough because we only have 4. I was correct. I said it'll take 6 or 7, maybe 5, and it took 5. So there's those things, but lightning. Again, it took the get off your horse button 3 times to actually get off the horse. Right, but now we're over here. And we're over an hour. I don't want to go too much. I don't know how much of this area is left. But considering there's Bale, whatever his name was, I know it's here. Bale the Dread. Yeah. So I know that there's at least 1 major boss. So I'd rather not spend another like 20 minutes on there, so not the best place to end it, but I'm gonna end it here. So in this part, we went through Bonny Gaol, and we went from a bit past. Someone's dying in the background, I don't know if you can hear that. But we also went through from Dragon Pit Terminus to foot of the dragon, or foot of the Jagged Peak. We fought a basic kind of reused boss, though they're DLC exclusive and we've only seen 2 so far. We met Igon, he told us to summon him. We fought a more significant dragon boss, and now we made it to the Dragon Peak mountainside. And we get to see lots of red lightning. So, Pretty cool. I want to see what Mimic's Veil does. What do we turn ourselves into? Bones! Alright, what do we turn ourselves into this time? A statue of a broken dragon. This is looking forward, by the way. But I think it's sideways. So, one more. Bones! But I'm gonna end it here. So, pretty good progress. And with that being said, yeah.